Wycliffe e Giovanni, anche tu, GMB, siete due bravi coglioni e per questo motivo vi voglio dare la possibilità di entrare a far parte della famiglia di Cosa Nostra.
Yo, I'm rolling with the wise guys. You don't wanna testify. I thought it was a movie till they paid me off in jury duty. I can't front. The check came in handy cause my baby mother stressing me like Edith did.
Hey, People's Cat. Part 2 of hypothermia. This is stages of hypothermia. So there's 2, 3, 4 stages of hypothermia depending on where you look. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, I'm not focusing here on temperature, I'm focusing on symptomology. So the 3 stages of hypothermia are, you don't have hypothermia but you're at risk. So that's the main stage that most of us experience all the time, specifically in the winter. Is it wet? Is it cold? Is it windy? So for example, when the temperature rises above freezing, which it did yesterday in Toronto, you're actually at more risk being outdoors than when it was 0 Fahrenheit a couple of days before that, because when it's 0 Fahrenheit it's dry, there's no moisture in the air, the snow is crisp to the point of crunchy, so it's actually hard to get wet. The wetness is what's going to kill you, so that's why you don't want to be sweating ever in a condition of where you could get hypothermia. So think about why you might get hypothermia and avoid it. Now, mild hypothermia I discussed in the first one. Now, for most of us in the prepping community, we have plenty of blubber surrounding us, and some of you guys actually have a lot of fur on your face, which is a great thing. So that actually helps maintain body temperature. So in the winter, in grid down, I wouldn't be shaving. Just won't be. It's actually a good thing to have on your face to prevent frostbite and hypothermia on your face, on your body. So round about 1 degree or 2 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 degree centigrade, 2 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll start to get signals. And we talked about the signals you might get. Now, you don't want the person to die. So the early symptoms we've already talked about. It's cold, pale, grey skin, shivering, little shivers, little shivers. If it's prolonged deep shivers, you're in deep trouble. So as soon as you start shivering, get slowly rewarmed. Get out of the wind, get out of the wet clothing, slow down your exposure to the factors that are making you shivering. Now, like I say, very early on your judgment becomes impaired, so that's why it's always good to have a buddy system for this. So if you notice, talk to each other. If you notice, you say you're feeling okay, because that's what people say, which is a stupid question, they'll probably say yeah. So don't ask them if they're okay. Ask them what 16 plus 42 is. And if they have got any hesitation in the answer, drag them out of the cold environment and get them rewarmed, whether they want to go or not. Make them go before it becomes serious. Also help them go back to the warmth, because they could easily fall over, and the cold hands and feet will actually impair tasks outdoors anyway. So if traditionally you're out there collecting wood or collecting water in the cold, you want to stop doing that if you've got mild hypothermia, because you could easily injure yourself. Now, the late symptoms will be if you touch the chest area, not the belly, but the chest area will feel cold to touch. That's a really serious sign. Core temperature's plummeted. The muscles become stiff, very stiff to touch. Your pulse, which you should be able to feel on everybody, gentle on the neck, only one side, not for that long. You should be able to feel the pulse, and it should be slower than normal. So again, the people in your party and yourself, what's your normal blood pressure, what's your normal temperature, what's your normal respiratory rate, what's your normal pulse rate during different activities. You should have figured that out. You should know that, because that's preventative healthcare, and that's what you want to be looking for, both in SHTF and in normal times. Like, you can't tell what's going on unless you actually know what the normal is. But it's going to be slower than normal initially, even on the severe thing. Breathing, as I said before, will be shallow and slower, noticeably slower. So again, unless you look at it and think about if they are, how they're breathing, you're not going to pick that up. Sleepy and confused, loss of consciousness. Now, shivering. If they have minor shivering, progressing to serious shivering, with serious loss of consciousness, mental focusing issues, and then they stop shivering, that doesn't mean that they're doing fine. Below, I believe, 90 Fahrenheit, you'll actually not be able to shiver, because the chemical process in the muscles will be impaired by the temperature. We live in a very tiny bubble of temperature, so avoid hypothermia. So the 3 stages for me are: you're at risk, that's the serious stage, and you're going to be at risk all the time. The second stage, you've got minor symptoms of hypothermia, that's an acute stage. That's where you act, that's where you get out of the cold temperature and start rewarming, and stay out of it until you're really, really warm again. The late symptoms for me is you failed. You should not get late symptoms as a prepper. You may come across people with late symptoms, and that's why you need to know what to do about it. So slowly warm, make them happy. Basic things like don't give them alcohol, don't massage or rub the periphery or the centre to try and warm them up. That stuff doesn't work, and it's not the greatest thing to do. Don't use a heating lamp above them. Don't use a hot water bottle on them or a hot chemical pad on the skin. That's something else you don't want to do. And that's it for me. That was Hypothermia Part 2, Wilkes Cat. And what I'm going to talk about next will be how to avoid hypothermia by dressing, and then how to avoid hypothermia by protecting the environment that you live in. Anyway, au revoir.